You know, you're being watched right now. And I don't mean by a person. I mean by an algorithm. It's happening everywhere. In our cities, on our phones, even at our jobs, in ways you probably haven't even thought about. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this invisible world of AI surveillance and figure out what it really means for us.
All right, let's jump right in with a story that isn't just about some abstract concept like data. No, this is about something much more personal, your face. We're going to talk about how one company built a gigantic database with billions of photos scraped from the internet, and yeah, your picture is probably in it. Let's dig into how on earth that happened.
Think about the photos you post online. You know, a memory from a vacation, a snapshot with friends. We think of them as just moments. But what if that digital footprint you're leaving is being followed? What if those photos are being collected, stored, and used in ways you never, ever could have imagined?
30 billion with a B. That's how many photos a company called Clearview AI just scraped from the public internet. We're talking social media, company websites, you name it. If it was public, they took it. And they used all of it to build one of the biggest facial recognition databases on the planet. And yes, your face could be in it right now, being sold as a service to law enforcement and private companies.
This line, it's from a lawsuit against the company, and it gets right to the heart of the matter. Nobody was asked. Your photos, my photos, our biometric data, it was all just taken, repurposed into a massive surveillance tool, all without a single person giving their permission.
Now, Clearview AI is a huge deal, but honestly, they're just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. When we look at who's actually doing this kind of surveillance, it really boils down to two main players, governments and corporations. Now, they might have different reasons for watching, but their methods, they're starting to look shockingly similar.
So, on one side, you've got governments. They use surveillance for national security. You know, the CCTV cameras you see on every street corner or the facial recognition tech at the airport. Then, on the other side, you have corporations, and their goal? It's simple, profit. This is surveillance capitalism, where your every click is tracked, your social media is mined, and your data is sold off to the highest bidder. But here's the thing, whether it's for security or for profit, the end result is exactly the same. You're being watched.
So you might be thinking, okay, what's the big deal? A little less privacy for a little more security or convenience, right? Well, it's really not that simple. Because when we know we're constantly being watched, it actually changes us. It changes our society. And the costs, well, they're much, much higher than you might think. There's this concept called the chilling effect, and it is absolutely a real thing. The moment you think you might be watched, you start to second-guess yourself. Maybe you don't post that political opinion. Maybe you don't go to that protest. Maybe you just stop being your weird, wonderful, authentic self. It's like this little voice in your head whispering, "Careful now, someone's watching."
And you know, it goes even deeper than what we do. It's about who we are. When these AI systems treat us as just a collection of data points to be analyzed, it strips away our humanity. We just become a means to an end, whether that end is profit or security. And that right there is a quiet but serious violation of our basic human dignity.
And when you put it all together, what do you get? A total breakdown of trust. I mean, how can we trust our governments or the companies whose products we use every single day when we have this feeling they might be secretly watching us? It's like the rules of the game have been broken, and we're the ones left paying the price.
I want you to just listen to this quote for a second. It's from someone living in a heavily surveilled region of China. They said, "People no longer feel comfortable socializing because cameras are always filming us." Just let that sink in. It's a powerful reminder of the very real, very human cost of all this. This isn't just about data privacy anymore. It's about our basic ability to connect with each other, to just be human.
So why? Why is this happening? Why are we building a world where people are literally afraid to socialize? To understand that, we have to look at the powerful ideas driving this whole debate. Because at its core, what we have here is a clash between two completely different ways of seeing the world.
On one side, you've got utilitarianism. This is basically the greater good argument. You've probably heard the thought experiment. If you could sacrifice one person to save 5, should you do it? A utilitarian might say yes, because you're maximizing the overall good. And that is the exact logic behind so much of today's surveillance. A little less privacy for you and me, for a lot more security for everyone.
But on the other side, you have deontology. This is the individual rights argument. A deontologist would look at that same problem and say, sacrificing that one person is wrong, period, full stop.
Why? Because some things, like violating a person's rights, are just fundamentally wrong, no matter what the consequences are. And from this viewpoint, surveillance is wrong simply because it violates our fundamental right to privacy, even if it might make us safer.
So there you have it, the two competing ideas, the greater good versus individual rights. One side focuses on the outcome, does this make us safer? The other focuses on the principle, did we violate a fundamental right to do it? This is the central conflict, the real tension, at the heart of the entire debate over AI surveillance.
Okay, so we've got this big, messy, philosophical debate, but that does not mean we're stuck. There are real, practical solutions that can help us build a future where technology actually serves us without making us sacrifice our core values. So let's take a look at what a path forward might look like.
It really all starts with something called privacy by design. That just means building privacy protections into technology from the very beginning, not just slapping them on as an afterthought. Next, we need radical transparency. No more hiding behind thousands of words of confusing terms of service. Just be open and honest about what data you're collecting and why. And finally, and this is maybe the most important part, we need real accountability. That means independent groups that can check these systems and a real way for people to fight back when things go wrong.
You see, these solutions aren't just about technology. They're about the kind of world we want to live in. The choices we're making right now are going to have a huge impact on our future. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final question to really think about.
In a world where everyone is watched, some algorithm has to decide what's normal and what's suspicious. So who gets to draw that line? What happens to creativity, to dissent, to the simple freedom of just being a little bit different? The future of our privacy is really in our hands, and it's up to all of us to decide what kind of world we want to build. Thanks for joining me.